The SEC just continues to drop the ball. It hasn't even been a full 48 hours since I talked about how the SEC leaked very substantial information, and now it just continues. We have to talk about a lot of this information in this video, so definitely listen close, sit back, relax, and welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Let's first start off with the fact that just about roughly 48 hours ago, guys, I talked about the leaked information that Gary Gensler let get out publicly. This was crazy. We talked about it. But now, outside of that, a ton of donors, we're talking about Democratic donors here, are now pushing Kamala Harris to fire Gary Gensler. This is crazy. But it's also the FTC chair. What is going on? Well, people are fed up. And it's for good measure. Just the other day, eToro settled a lawsuit with the SEC, agreeing to limit crypto trading in the US. What is happening here? The US has now become one of the most anti-crypto nations in the world. And it is because of this one 3-letter agency. The SEC has become nothing but a massive obstacle in the overall path to crypto succeeding in the US, but also being adopted, growing in the US, innovation becoming a reality. How many jobs is the SEC holding back in the US around crypto? I mean, this is a complete joke. But this is exactly why people are fed up and they want Gary Gensler gone. They want Gary Gensler fired. Over here, we have from the SEC Gov. Scammers often use innovations and emerging technologies like crypto to perpetrate investment scams. Learn about 5 ways fraudsters may lure victims into scams involving crypto asset securities. What is happening here? The SEC, an agency that caused $15 billion, that's right, billion dollars worth of damages in just one day of announcing the XRP lawsuit. We're talking about on the day one of the lawsuit. $15 billion worth of retail damages. But they're talking about other scammers. Why shouldn't they, showcase themselves? Showcase Jay Clayton and Bill Himman and how they went on to Ethereum and Bitcoin trading desk and companies while pushing a lawsuit against one of the biggest competitors to Bitcoin and Ethereum in the space, which is XRP. And the reason why is because XRP had and always had the highest probability of flipping Ethereum, which it did, and also Bitcoin. But, let's not talk about that. Let's not put a spotlight on ETHgate. Let's just continue to push nonsense around, scammers within crypto. What about scammers within TradFi, like the biggest banks out there? Oh yeah, we just hit them with, a slap on the wrist and say, have a good day. And it also seems as though the SEC doesn't care, or didn't care, I should say, when Sam Bankman-Fried walked through the doors saying, hey, FTX is going to be the greatest thing ever, because they got time to meet with Gary Gensler. They got a green light when they walked out. Interesting. It's very funny that the SEC is now talking about scams in crypto. But this is also happening at a time where, the SEC is limiting trading around crypto in the US, pushing, terrible FUD around crypto, still attacking crypto from all fronts, at a time where the United Kingdom just officially introduced a bill to recognize Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as personal property. We're now seeing clarity in areas around the world. The UK officially introduces a bill to legally recognize cryptocurrency, NFTs, and tokenized real-world assets as personal property. It all starts in London. Is this the beginning of global crypto regulation? And, global crypto regulation has already been in effect. Look at over in Japan. Look at the UAE. All of these nations around the world are moving towards a pro-crypto stance when it comes to regulatory clarity. What is the holdup in the US? Over here, India leads in global crypto adoption for the second year in a row. These are areas that are very pro-innovation. They see the fact that crypto is not going anywhere besides growing and becoming much bigger. But the US continues to fight it. All of these areas are very pro-innovation. But going back to the eToro announcement, right? We have from Coinbase's CLO, they just conceded ETH is not offered as an investment contract security in secondary markets. But the SEC Gov will not explain why ETH and Bitcoin, but no others, because they can't. There is no plan, no framework, no logic, no due process, and certainly no respect for the law. And if we actually look at this, right, they reached a settlement with the SEC and will cease trading activity in nearly all crypto assets. Firm charged with operating unregistered broker clearing agency in connection with the crypto asset trading platform. They do break it down. They agreed to pay a $1.5 million fine to settle charges that it operated an unregistered broker and unregistered clearing agency in securities with a trading platform that facilitated crypto currency trading and things like that. eToro publicly announced that going forward and subject to the provisions of the SEC's order in the matter, the only crypto assets that U.S. customers can trade on the company's platform will be Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Ether. What is going on here? I mean, it feels very off to me, right? And I know that everyone's going to have a big opinion on this, but why does the SEC and all of these big players like the TradFi guys only want people touching Bitcoin and Ethereum? What is going on there? This is what makes me so skeptical of Bitcoin and Ether. It almost feels like they want to funnel everyone into Bitcoin and Ethereum because they know that Bitcoin and Ethereum won't be the chosen ones. They want the retail sector hodling these basically zero value opportunities in the space. They don't want you touching XRP. They don't want you touching HBAR. They don't want you touching Stellar. They don't want you touching anything that actually has some type of real world utility. And I question why. I question what is going on. What is the plan behind all of this? We also see eToro publicly announce that it will provide its customers with functionality to sell all other crypto assets for only 180 days after the issuance of the SEC's order. By removing tokens offered as an investment contract from its platform, eToro has chosen to come into compliance and operate within our established regulatory framework. What framework is that? There is zero framework here. This resolution not only enhances investor protection, how, but also offers a pathway for other crypto intermediaries. What this actually is doing is killing innovation, killing growth in the space, and killing access to legitimate opportunities that could make you money. They don't want you getting rich. I've said this a million times over. The SEC does not want you getting rich. What's crazier about all of this, right, is the fact that if we go over here, big shout to Wrath of Kahneman for this. Recording, the New York State Bar understood Torres's ruling as meaning XRP is not inherently a security as a victory for Ripple and a cognizable path forward. They do mention concern that the SEC seems to have abandoned security designation as a fact-specific test. Yeah, because they're not looking at this at all and applying law. They are just picking and choosing winners and losers, but they also want to put a guardrail up around assets that actually have legitimate value. They want to shuffle all the retail money into things like Bitcoin and Ethereum because they know people are not going to get rich off of it. It's the same reason why I look at BlackRock and Fidelity and all these big players pushing Bitcoin, pushing Ethereum. Why are they pushing Bitcoin and Ethereum so much? Why are all these people that are already wealthy pushing Bitcoin and Ethereum? There must be some big plan behind all of this. What is going on? But the craziest thing about all of this is going back to my initial statements, how Gary Gensler leaked internal documents, how everyone wants Gary Gensler fired. Guess what? We just got a big announcement. New SEC Gov Chairman Gary Gensler is now under investigation by top Republican lawmakers for engaging in suspected political favoritism in his hiring practices. This is very substantial. And you know what? I guarantee you guys that this is probably going to come back as true, because Gary Gensler is a part of the anti-crypto crusade that Elizabeth Warren put in place to push Operation Choke Point 2.0, trying to crush this industry, trying to keep innovation dead in the US, but also keep the retail sector in the US that is trying to invest into crypto poor. They don't want you making money. Over here, new, an email received by way of an FOIA request into the communications of Gary Gensler revealed that the SEC Gov's Director of Trading and Markets marketed himself as being in the right place on the political spectrum. He was then hired 6 months later. This email obtained by Virtu became the basis for the investigation launched by these Republican lawmakers. Also, Virtu Financial has been warring with the SEC since the agency sued the company for allegedly making misleading disclosure statements regarding safeguarding customer information. This is from the CEO of Virtu. Sadly, this isn't surprising. I've repeatedly said that Gensler's agenda is more motivated by politics than by a genuine desire to improve markets, and the results of our FOIA litigation uncovered just that. And also a statement to Fox Business. An SEC spokeswoman said Chair Gensler will respond to members of Congress directly, which we already know what this is going to be. Listen, when Congress scolded Gary Gensler, zero acknowledgement, zero answers, all excuses, all this, back and forth child game. Like, it's ridiculous. When are we going to have some accountability here? When are we going to see Gary Gensler fired? When are we going to see the SEC as an entire agency be held accountable as well? It will never happen. Over here, Republican Tennessee congressman who sits on the Financial Committee is introducing a new bill called the Bridge Digital Assets Act that would establish a joint advisory committee on the digital assets between the SEC Gov and the CFTC. The purpose of the committee, I'm told, would be for industry to provide both agencies with advice on their respective roles, regulations, and policies relating to digital assets. The committee would be made up of 20 private sector participants who represent different interests in the crypto space. I'm actually very happy about this, by the way. This is exactly what I have been calling for, a completely different agency that can be comprised of, TradFi regulators and then also the private sector space around crypto. The current heavy-handed regulation by enforcement approach isn't working and is instead encouraging investment in this key innovation overseas. The Joint Advisory Committee on Digital Assets will provide a framework for the government and private sector partners to cooperate on a path towards success for the regulatory landscape of digital assets and private sector participants. I'm actually very excited about this. I think that this is great. And yes, everyone, I'm sure that you guys are aware that the CFTC has been working with Ripple since almost day one. They've been pushing and really kind of meeting together to push for crypto regulation. So, I think that this is very good. And I think that this is something that we need. We need a completely different, agency outside of the SEC, outside of the CFTC. Congress is not going to do it. We need a completely different agency. I think that this is the right way to do it. Involve both sides. That way we can have proper guardrails put in place. Right now, what's happening around this favoritism of Bitcoin and Ether, I don't understand it. I don't get it. And it's not just Gary Gensler, by the way. Jay Clayton was the same exact way. Bill Hinman was the same exact way. There seems to be some sinister plan behind all of this. I personally look at this as they don't want retail buying up a lot of these great opportunities because they also realize how valuable these assets will be. If you are not in the space now, if you are not cold storaging some of these utility, plays, I do think that you are going to severely miss out in the future. I really do believe that. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.